Well, the first day of 2024 yesterday not only marked the beginning of a brand new year, but the first day that dozens of new laws took effect here in Oregon and in the great state of Washington. So the story team thought that we would highlight a few of those that we kind of think are maybe flying under the radar. Let's start in Oregon. House Bill 3235 created Oregon's first ever state-based child tax credit. It's a credit of $1,000 per child between the ages of 0 and 5, but only for families earning $30,000 a year or less. Lawmakers say 55,000 kids and their families in the state will benefit from this. Parents can apply for the credit when they file their tax return. Senate Bill 82 is a big deal for those of you who live in areas prone to wildfires. Last year, the state came out with a map showing where wildfires are most likely to happen. Well, people living in those areas kind of freaked out. They worried it would jack up their insurance rates and tank their property values. So the state pulled back the map. This new law says that insurance companies cannot increase rates just because the state map puts the property in a fire-prone area. The companies can still raise rates, but they have to jump through a lot of hoops to do it, and they have to give the owners several steps that they could take to lower their risk and lower the rate hike. For those of you with lead foots out there, watch out. House Bill 2095 calls for expanded use of photo radar for traffic enforcement. Before this year, only the state of Oregon and then a handful of cities could use photo radar. But this new law, well, that throws it wide open. It expands the option to all cities in the state, assuming they pay for the cost of operating the systems. The law also eliminates restrictions on the number of hours that photo radar can be used, meaning they could be active all the time. And there's a new tool in the toolbox for prosecutors across Oregon when it comes to organized retail theft. Senate Bill 340 ratchets up consequences for theft. People who are convicted of organized retail theft are automatically sentenced to 2 years in prison if they already have a previous conviction for things like aggravated theft, burglary, or robbery. SB 340 also gives prosecutors and law enforcement more flexibility when and where they file charges if the thefts take place across county lines. The new law is already one that the Multnomah County DA's office says will help in their efforts to take down people that they call, quote, chronic professional thieves. Now let's touch on a couple of new laws regarding the drug and housing crises in Oregon. Senate Bill 1043 requires hospitals, long-term facilities, and drug treatment centers to provide patients with at least 2 doses of Narcan upon discharge if the patient was there for treatment of an opioid use disorder. Senate Bill 529 makes addiction services more available to people in jail and prison. The new bill requires drug treatment be available to them the first day they start serving their sentence, which is not how things operated previously, according to the state senator, Michael Dembro.
The only time that adults in custody can get access to drug therapy is just before they're released. And that is really kind of crazy. Substance use disorder is a chronic illness that needs to be treated as soon as possible.
And finally, House Bill 2984, it allows local governments to convert commercial buildings into affordable housing without requiring a zone change.
What we're trying to do with these commercial conversions is prompt all of us to think differently about how we do housing and how we can do it more quickly.
And how about new laws across the Columbia in the state of Washington? Well, there are some big ones. Most Washington employers are now banned from testing for cannabis during the hiring process. There are several exemptions, including law enforcement and airline positions. Washington legalized recreational cannabis use way back in 2012. When it comes to public safety, there's a new Washington law that requires a 10-day waiting period for purchasing or transferring any kind of gun. The Alliance for Gun Responsibility pushed for that law. They say the waiting period can help prevent emotionally charged suicides and homicides.
Waiting periods are proven to be a really wonderful policy option for mitigating the impulsive and temporary emotional behavior around immediate access to a firearm.
The law also requires the person buying the gun to have completed a firearm safety course within the past 5 years. And how about this one? Washington's minimum wage is jumping to $16.28 an hour. That's more than 3% higher than last year and is the highest in the nation. It's more than double the federal minimum wage, which is just $7.25 an hour.